What is going on YouTube? It's Tyler from Team TYC here, and today I have a very fun and special video for you guys. Today I am going over my 25th place Dracoslayer deck profile from this weekend's Yu-Gi-Oh! Regional Qualifier in the Catskills, hosted by Kirwans Game Store. This deck was really fun to play. Unfortunately, I was only able to get 25th place, so I missed my top by one. It was top 24, and that's just how it is, honestly. That's how Yu-Gi-Oh! Goes, and that's how it is. But honestly, I was very surprised that this deck got me to how far it did. I really thought I was just going to lose to every tier element / sprite player I played against, but surprisingly, the deck performed very, very well. And without further ado, I'm ready to get you guys into the deck profile. But first, I'm going to go over my matches. So round 1, I played against a Mystic Mind player. I was able to win that match. Round 2, I played against Neptivus, Sprite, FTK, which was really funny, and I really enjoyed playing that match against that gentleman. Round 3 was Nibble Sprite, which was another win for me. Round 4 was against Flaunderies. I was able to win that match as well. Round 5, I lost to Tri-Brigade Sprite in time because he was just able to summon the Red Resonator, gain the life points, and just say la vie. Round 6 was Runic Sprite, and I will show you how I won that match with one of the cards in the deck in just a little bit. Round 7 was Sprite, and my opponent just is better than me. He drew Raw Sphere Mode, Harpy's Feather Duster, and then he prosperited it into an evenly match, and that's how I lost that game. And then round 8 was against Brandon Despia. That was a really close match. And then game 3, I just happened to brick. So what are you going to do? But yeah, without further ado, let's get right into the deck profile. So now, for those who don't know about the Dracoslayer archetype, they were released many years ago, I believe back in 2015 out of Clash of Rebellion, where we were introduced to Luster Pendulum, the Dracoslayer, and a bunch of other really cool Pendulum cards. These cards were most known to be used in the Dracoslayer Perform Power 4 Mage deck, or Pepe, as some people may know it. So, for our Dracoslayers, for the new ones, we were playing 3 copies of Ignis Phoenix, the Dracoslayer, 3 copies of Majesty's Pegasus, the Dracoslayer, and 3 copies of Dynamite Powerload, the Dracoslayer. Now, these are all new cards from Darkwing Blast, and honestly, they make this deck so much better than it used to be. Just this deck's ability to abuse the pendulum mechanic as well as just combo off each other is so incredible. So I'll go over each of them individually. So Ignis Phoenix says, if you can target 1 face-up pendulum monster in your extra deck, shuffle it into the deck, and add 1 Ignite monster from your deck to your hand. Now, we're not using the pendulum effect ever, this guy. We're using the On Destruction effect, where it says, if it is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can special summon a Dracoslayer from your deck and treat it as a tuner, which is very good to get you into your Beyond the Pendulum combo, to get you into your Ignister Prominence, the Dracoslayer, before anything else, without having to commit too many resources to it. Now, Majesty's Pegasus, I think, is honestly the best one. She says that if you have a Dracoslayer or Magispector card in your Pendulum scale, you can search out any Dracoslayer, and then you can pop a card. So the optional pop is really nice. What you really want to pop is the Ignis Phoenix to get you another Dracoslayer out of the deck and treat it as a tuner, which is really good. And then when it's special summoned from the effect of a Dracoslayer monster, you can add any field spell from your deck to your hand, which is insane. You could just search any field spell. You can search out Mystic Mind, like Sky Iris, Zombie World, pretty much. So those are those 2. And then Dynamite Powerload, like, this one's okay. I like him. He says if you have another Dracoslayer in your scale, you can special summon a Dracoslayer from the scale. And then if it is tributed, you can add a face-up Dracoslayer monster back from your face-up extra deck except himself. So that's it for our new Dracoslayers. For old ones, we were playing 3 Luster Pendulum, the Dracoslayer, 1 Master Pendulum, the Dracoslayer. So the reason you have to play the 1 Master Pendulum, I honestly want to bump this card to at least a 2 of, because the problem is you don't have a lot of low scales in this deck. Both Luster Pendulum, Dynamite, and Ignis are all high scales. The only really low scale you have is your Majesty Pegasus. And 85% of the time you want to summon it to get the search for the field spell. So you need the Master Pendulum in your deck for another low scale. And his Pendulum effect just says if you have another, you can target 1 card in the Pendulum zone and destroy it. Luster's really good. So Luster is one of the OG Dracoslayers. Its scale effect is if you have a card in your Pendulum zone, you can destroy that card. If you do, add another card with the same name from your deck to your hand. And its monster effect is simple. It can't be used for anything other than a Dracoslayer Fusion, Synchro, or Xyz summon. So. And now for our search engine, we are playing 3 Magispector, Raccoon, Bunbuku. You guys haven't seen this card in a while. Bunbuku's fantastic. It searches any Magispector card, which is great because Majesty's Pegasus is also treated as a Magispector card. All the new Dracoslayers have that. Ignis is treated as an Ignite. Majesty's Pegasus is treated as a Magispector, and Dynamite is treated as a Dynamis card. So it's really good to just go normal summon Bambuku effect. It can't be Ash or Imperm because those cards target, and all the magic vectors cannot be targeted or destroyed by card effects, which is super clean. Which is surprising because I barely got hand trapped over the weekend. Barely anybody ever hand trapped me. So now for our other engine, we are playing a small magician engine of 3 harmonizing magician, 1 purple poison magician, and 1 oath dragon magician. So harmonizing is just insane because when it's special summon from the hand, so technically when you're pendulum summoning it, you can grab any magician from your deck, special summon it, but then banish it when it leaves the field. So your main play is searching off of your Beyond the Pendulum. You're normally searching the Harmonizing Magician to pendulum summon it, and then use this effect to grab the Oath Dragon Magician to make a Baron. Because you need this deck's biggest weakness is hand traps, especially Nibiru. If you get Nibiru in this deck, you kind of just lose so much tempo, value, and just card advantage itself. So the ability to just make the Baron close enough to your 5th summon is sometimes enough just to stop them, is just to stop any form of interruption. Now for other little mini engine, we are playing 2 Perform Pal Skullcrabat Joker. It's like okay. Most of the times over the weekend, I found I sided this card out a lot because if I have this plus the Bambuku, I rather value the normal summon off the Bambuku to search the Match These Pegasus to get more searching than I do the Skullcrabat Joker. But the Skullcrabat Joker can search the Harmonizing Magician. It can search out the next card in our deck, 3 copies of Odd Eyes Revolution Dragon. This card's actually insane. This card's nuts. Its monster effect says you can ditch it, pay 500 life points, search out any level 8 or lower Dragon Pendulum monster from your deck. So it can search you out your Luster, the Luster Pendulum, the Master Pendulum. So just get you whatever missing combo piece you need. And then its scale effect is insane. So when it's in the scale, you can target any target 1 Fusion, Synchro, or Xyz Dragon monster in your graveyard, destroy it, and then special summon it. So it lets you recycle your Ignister. And the great thing about Ignister is neither effect is hard once per turn. So they're soft, which is really good, which a lot of people seem to be surprised of when I played this deck because they didn't play back then when they had soft once per turns, only hard ones. So I feel that's a reason why I was able to get so far in the tournament over the weekend. And then you play the 1 Astrograph Sorcerer. This card's just insane. If you have this plus a Luster in your hand, and you go Luster pop something, you go trigger the Astrograph Sorcerer and just search out even more follow-up and advantage. And then another interesting tech choice I chose over the weekend was playing the Bisteel. So we're playing 3 Bisteel Magnuma and the 1 Bisteel Druis Worm. What's cool about these cards is, especially with Magnuma, when you special summon it, during the end phase you can search any Dragon monster, and you have at least 8 targets in the deck. So you have the 3 Odd Eyes Revolution Dragon, you have the 3 Luster Pendulum, the 1 Master Pendulum, or you can just search the Druis Worm to out something. These cards are really good. I didn't really see a lot of tier over the weekend. I didn't play against any tier elements, so I feel like these cards didn't get their maximum amount of value. What I would do is when I would draw these cards, I would just, and I had the Odd Eyes Revolution in my hand, I would pitch the Revolution Dragon, and then use the Magnuma to banish the Odd Eyes to summon it, to get more advantage and just to help OTK my opponent. And also it's a level 6, so it works well to make Baron. And then the next card, we are playing 3 copies of Kashatir Fenrir. This card's nuts. This is pretty much better Pankratops. The fact you just special summon it, the special summon isn't once per turn. Excuse me. You can search out another copy of itself, just to have more follow-up or an easy discard. And just the ability to banish something face down, too. The only problem is, it doesn't start... It has to if your opponent activates monster effects. So there were a lot of interesting rulings over the weekend to figure out when Fenrir triggered. And luckily, I never had to deal with that. I was very fortunate. So now for the spells. We're not playing that many spells. We were only playing 2 Pod Desires. This card's alright. I'm the kind of person that doesn't like to play Pod Desires in any Pendulum deck because I just think you just need as many Pendulum monsters as possible. So, I barely saw this card too. I barely saw Desires. We play 1 Sky Iris to search off the Match These Pegasus. If you've never heard of Sky Iris before, Sky Iris lets you target a card in your Pendulum Zone or on the field, destroy it, and if you do, search an Odd Eye. So you can just search your Odd Eyes Revolution Dragon just for more follow-up. I barely searched this card when I would summon the Match These Pegasus. I would search out Secret Village. Secret Village, this format, I believe, is just so insane. Just be able to cut your opponent off from activating spells when spells are some of the best cards in the format, where you can just search this, activate it, and then they just get locked out because you always have a spellcaster on the field if you just leave your Beyond the Pendulum on the field. Or if you have Beyond the Pendulum in an IP Masquerade, you can just link summon into Selene, which is a spellcaster, which is insane. I played a Runic Sprite player round 6. Game 3, I activate the Secret Village, and I pass. Made a board of Baron, IP, and the Beyond the Pendulum. My opponent drew had Hyperia in his opening hand, so he drew his, summoned it, drew a card, and then he just extended the handshake. Because he had 6 spells in his hand, he couldn't activate any of them onto this card. And then the last card for main deck was 3 Triple Tactics Talent. This card was okay when I was going second. I won a good majority of my die rolls over the weekend, so I was always going first. And I would always side a couple of these cards out because not a lot of people were playing hand traps, so I figure I expected to be a very big hand trap heavy format, and just being able to draw 2, take an opponent's monster, or look at the hand would have come up, but talents never really came up that much over the weekend, which I was surprised by. And so now we're moving on to the X deck. We were playing 1 Dinosaur Power Load, the Mighty Dracoslayer. So this thing you can contact fuse into by just using a Dracoslayer monster and a Pendulum monster. And then its effect says you cannot target, Dracoslayer's Pendulum cards in your monster and Pendulums cannot be destroyed by battle or card effect. And then once per turn, you can special summon a Dracoslayer from your hand or graveyard. Just another great extender, really good card. This helps trigger the Dynamite Power Load. And then, so that's our only fusion. For Synchros, we are playing 2 copies of Ignister Prominence, the Blasting Dracoslayer. This card's insane. I love this card. Just the ability to, once per turn, summon a Dracoslayer from the deck in defense position. It cannot be used as synchro material. And the ability to target something on my field, in my Pendulum Zone, or on the field, and then non-target shuffle something back into the opponent's deck is just so powerful. And it works really well, especially if you have the Purple Poison Magician in the scale, because it pops the Purple Poison, and then shuffle something, and then you get the Purple Poison effect to pop another card, another face-up card in the field. So this card with removal, and just helps clean up boards so easily. And then we played 1 Scarlet Red Dragon Archfiend for time, so we don't lose. Because Scarlet says you can pop as many special summon monsters on the field as possible, and then deal your opponent 500 points of damage for each one. So I rarely ever went into time with it, so I need to make this card. But round 5, if my opponent was able to if I had a turn after my opponent's Sprite combo, I could just made Scarlight, pop everything, and just gain, have him deal 2,000 to 3,000 points of damage. So that never came up. And then the last synchro is Baron. Don't really think I need to explain this. Now we're going on to the Xyz monsters. Another great thing about this deck is it can easily just spit out rank 4s. So I was playing mostly the best rank 4s, so 1 Abyss Dweller, 1 Magister Paladin, the Ascending Dracoslayer. This card's crazy. So on summon, during you trigger the end phase effect to search out any Pendulum monster, and then you can detach 1 material from this card to special summon a Dracoslayer from your face of extra deck. So it just helps you get so much more value and keep the advantage. We played 1 Baguska, the Terribly Tired Tapir, because I don't want to lose to Flunder, or I just need to stall for a little bit to get the combo pieces I need. And then we played number 38, Hope Harbinger. This card's crazy, by the way. This card came up over the weekend when I believe it was round 2. My opponent was under the Secret Village lock I had, because I had Beyond the Pendulum up, and IP, and I had this as well. They make an Oni Nabaru with their 2 Sprite monsters, and they go to battle phase. And I was like, okay, sure. They go attempt to attack into the Beyond the Pendulum, but a lot of people don't know that this card can redeclare attacks by just detaching a material, which is really good. So I would just went effect to detach, redirect the attack, and then he takes 11, and then he just couldn't do anything else after that. And then the spell negate is really nice too. Alright, so that's it for the Xyz monsters. Now we go into the Link monsters. We're playing 1 Beyond the Pendulum. I kind of wanted to bump this card to 2 a lot when thinking of, wow, I could really use a 2nd Beyond the Pendulum to help recreate the board I made and keep my advantage going. Because this deck's grind game isn't that great, if I'm being fully honest. Having the 2nd Beyond the Pendulum was definitely needed. But other than that, we played IP Masquerena, Nightmare Unicorn, Celine, the Queen of Magistus, the Access Code Talker, and the Appaloosa. Yeah. So this deck's really good for both making big boards of negates and also just being easily able to OTK because we can abuse the Pendulum summoning mechanic. One of the best mechanics ever is Pendulum summoning. And now onto the side deck. I decided to main deck 3 Lava Golem. Sorry, not main deck. Side deck 3 Lava Golem just to clear my opponent's boards of anything. I took inspiration from this from the YCS from the player that was on the feature match for round 1 at YCS Minneapolis. The fact he was able to double Lava Golem his opponent and win the game right there was really nice. So just easy special summon and just remove and good removal. Round 6, I remember. I was playing against a Sprite player. I won game 1, I believe. No, I believe I lost game 1. I sided these in going second for game 2. My opponent just happened to hit the appointer with a Red Lotus when I drew this for turn, and I was like, well, I guess I just lose now, right? And then my opponent was on something crazy, by the way. He played the Water Art Trap that lets you tribute a water monster to rip a card from my hand. So he was able to rip this out of my hand, again, when I drew another one, and was able to close out game. We only played 2 Cosmic Cyclone, and then we just played 3 Lightning Storm for back row removal. I figured a lot of people would be on Anti-Spell to stop me if they did play it, but I barely saw, nobody Anti-Spelled me or anything. I did get debarriered a couple times, though, so that kind of sucked. But yeah, Storm and Cosmic are just normal. Necro Rally is for the tier matchups because they can't shuffle anything back into the deck. Because the newest text of Necro Rally says cards cannot be moved. Negate the effects of any card that would move a card from the graveyard to a different location. The amount of times I had to look this up to see the most current text is nuts. But then we're playing more board breakers in 3 evenly matched, as well as 3 Solemn Judgment. The Solemn Judgments were just so I don't lose to cards like Dark Ruler no more, evenly matched, and stuff like that. But yeah, so that is the deck profile. Honestly, I like this deck a lot. I think this deck is really good going into the Ishizu tier format because I'm able to just spit out an Abyss Dweller every turn. And if I can just keep the graveyard negation, the graveyard hit up, honestly, I think this deck can do a lot. So definitely try this deck out if you are interested in it. It's a very budget-friendly deck. Like, the really only cards you're going to be spending a lot of money on are, like, the basics, like Access Code and all that stuff. But, yeah. And that's going to be it for the deck profile, you guys. I really, really enjoyed this deck, and I really want to take it to my next event and earn my invite with it. But, yeah, thank you guys so much for watching today's video. Really appreciate it. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you guys in the next video. Have a good day. Peace.